So today we will listen to an Avyakt murli. And this Avyakt murli is of the 15th of March, 1981. And the essence of the murli is spinners of the discus of self-realization and rulers of the globe are world benefactors. Spinners of the discus of self-realization and rulers of the globe are world benefactors. So today, the knowledgeful father is pleased to see his master, knowledgeful children. Baba is the ocean of knowledge, and we are master oceans of knowledge, and master knowledgeful children. So each one of you children play very well with the jewels of knowledge. Each one of you children play very well with the jewels of knowledge that you have received from the Father. Each of you experiences your knowledgeful stage number wise according to your capacity and power. So, if we increase our capacity, if we increase our power, we can become more knowledgeful, and then we'll be able to experience a more elevated stage. The knowledgeful stage means to experience every point of knowledge and become an embodiment of that. Or what does it mean to have a knowledgeful stage? It means to experience every point of knowledge and become an embodiment of that. When Babdada directs you to stabilize in the knowledgeful stage, are you able to do so within a second? Or does it take a long time? Baba directs us to create different stages. Today, Baba is directing us to stabilize ourselves in the knowledgeful stage. But how long does it take us to be in that stage? Are you able to do this, or are you already stabilized in that stage? Stabilize yourself in that stage and then look at all the souls of the world. What do you experience? What do all the souls look like? Experience in the intellect, you having such a powerful and unlimited stage. So let your intellect visualize. That's the same as experiencing in the intellect. And so, what do we have to visualize? What do we have to experience? Us actually having that powerful and unlimited stage. I know we are not there yet, right? All of us are quite weak. We're struggling, we are laboring. But Baba is wanting us to go into the future as if the future has become the present, or we have entered into the future, into that stage. That stage has become real for us. It is not something that will happen in the future. In Hindi, there's a word we use, kalpana, right? That it might happen. No, it has happened. It is happening now. You're experiencing it now. See how wonderful it feels then. Um, I become powerful. I have that unlimited stage. So the stage of being Trikaldarshi. Now, Trikaldarshi means to be able to understand the past, the present, and the future, all three at the same time. So what has happened in the past, we don't make the same mistakes in the present. And if we do the best we can in this present moment, then our future will be perfect too. So to be able to see the future and say, hey, if I make the same mistakes that I have done in the past, my future will also be messed up like my present. But I have the ability to change my future by changing the present. So to understand both the pathways, you see, to be able to see the future would mean I can see both the pathways, but not just two pathways. There are infinite pathways. Every little choice that I make, because in the present moment, we have infinite choices. There's a whole spectrum of choices. We can be 100% happy, 100% sad, or we could be anything in between. It could be 50% happy, 75% happy, 80% happy, 81.5% happy, how much ever you want. And that will determine the course of your life. Okay. So the stage of being Trikaldashi, Trinetri. Trinetri means to have the three eyes, right? So we do have two eyes to see the world, but the third eye is pointed inwards to be able to see our inner world, see ourselves. It's very interesting that you can't really see anything with these physical eyes beyond this much part. This is called as a peripheral vision. You really can't see your head. You can only see your head and your face, really, when you look at the mirror. Your eyes can't see your face. Your eyes can't see your eye sockets. In fact, actually, you can't even see your nose. It's interesting. You actually see your nose, but the way the brain, recreates the image for us, it cancels out the nose. Because you see, these two eyes see two different things. They're like two cameras that are spaced a few inches apart. So each eye sees a different image, and that image goes into the brain. Different image from here, different image from here. And brain reconstructs these two images to create one wholesome picture for us. But in that, it cancels out the nose. So unless you're looking at the nose, you can't really see the nose. You see, it's very interesting. You can't see your own ears. You can't see your own head. But this third eye has the ability to see inside, see yourself. So Trikaldashi, Trinetri, far-sighted. You see, we end up having telescopic vision to be able to see far. That is, see, when let's say there's fire and we put our hands in fire, then we know that the hand is going to get burnt. Or if you're not careful with the knife, we know it's going to get cut. But that is to be able to see the immediate future. But if we meditate, if we have that unlimited, powerful stage of being knowledgeful, then we will be able to see far the consequences of our actions that would result in a fruit many years from now, or even many lifetimes from now. And so the next is, I'll again repeat, the stage of being Trikaldashi, Trinetri, far-sighted, a world almighty authority, a master of the treasures, filled with all virtues and attainments, is such an elevated stage. While seated on such an elevated stage, look below you and see all the various types of souls. So we're not looking down on people, but we can look at everyone very well if you're on a high stage, a vantage point. If you go to the zoos here, you've gone to a zoo recently, and they have a place where you can climb up, and they call it as the bird's eye view. And from there, you can see the entire zoo many times. You have to climb up a few steps. It's not that easy. But similarly, if we can rise up in our consciousness, we can raise our stage, then we can see the entire world. We can see all the souls of the world. What is happening to them? What can we do to serve them? If they are suffering, what is causing their suffering? And what can we do to alleviate their suffering? So first of all, look at your devotee souls. What can you see? Because there will be a lot of devotees who are going to worship us from Copper Age onwards. So there are many queues of the various devotees who worship all the special deity souls in various ways. There are countless devotees. Some are Satu Pradhan devotees who perform their worship with great devotion. Others are Rajo or Tamoguni devotees who worship because of their own selfish motives. However, they too are in the queue of devotees. The poor souls are searching. They're wandering around and crying out. Are you able to hear their calls? You see, if there is a little bit of water dripping in your faucet in the bathroom, and you're trying to sleep, when there is complete silence, let's say you have turned off your television, you have turned off any radio or music that was going on. Let's say the fan is not running, and then you can hear the water dripping. Yeah, only when there is silence can you hear these tiny noises, right? And then you can go into the bathroom and turn off the faucet so that the water doesn't leak, right? Because over the night, course of the night, a lot of water could be wasted. So similarly, we can hear the unheard only when we quieten down all the external and the internal noise. You see, going back to that same analogy of that water faucet dripping, you see, in the night, there is very little traffic. So your cars are not whizzing past, so you don't hear all of that noise from outside. And inside the house, too, there is quietness. Children probably have gone off to sleep, everybody is asleep. Then you can hear the drop, 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 drop. So here, too, when all the external noise is quietened down. But who will quieten down all that? We ourselves have to do that. And the internal chatter, all that we have to quieten down. And then we can hear the sound of the cries of people who are in distress. So, are you able to hear their calls? And then there was a fly that was flying around Baba. This is in parenthesis. Just as this fly is wandering around here, and you all have the thought to grant it liberation, so too are your thoughts for your devotees just as intense. Acha, you have seen the devotees. Now, Baba is going to move on to another group of souls. But before that, before we move on to the next group of souls, let's take a moment to actually see those devotees in the Copper Age standing in queues. They could be Satoguni, that is the purest, the most unadulterated kind of devotees. They have no selfish ulterior motives. But there could also be others who are Raju and Tamo, with some selfish motives or a lot of selfish motives. And yet, whatever type of devotees they are, some may be just hoping to get a glimpse of us, or some may be wanting, something material. Whatever it is, we are here to grant them salvation. We are standing, giving them blessings, giving them love, giving them compassion, helping them through their problems. See yourself like that. It feels great. It feels awesome. So now look at the religious souls. They adopt so many names, so many costumes, and so many different methods. They have adopted so many different attractive facilities. There's a very good bazaar, that is market, for all the splendor of religion. And each showcase, a showpiece of their own different method, is visible. Some are eating and drinking a lot. Others have renounced their food and are engaged in doing tapasya. Different religions have different ways of finding peace, happiness. The method of one is to eat, drink, and be merry, and the method of another is to renounce everything. This is a wonderful scene, is it not? Some are dressed in red and others in yellow. All the different varieties have different theories. Hey, Master Knowledgeful Souls, what thought arises within you when you see them? So Baba is saying, you Master Supreme Souls are benefactors of those religious souls. So what thoughts do you have? You see, we are Master Supreme Souls. We are the benefactors of those souls too. We have to bring benefit to them too. Do you souls who are images of upliftment for the world think about uplifting them? Or is each of you busy in uplifting yourself? You see, we have to have the ability to uplift others as we are uplifting ourselves. And in a way, we should very soon be done with uplifting ourselves. You see, we already should be in an elevated state, uplifted state. Only when we are at a higher ground can we pull somebody who is down below, in the ditch, to higher ground too. Let's say floods are coming in, water is coming in, and they are going to drown. So if you are at higher ground, if you've already reached the higher ground, then you can throw the rope and pull the other people onto the higher ground too. If you yourself are struggling, if you yourself are in a ditch, then how will you help others, right? So Baba wants us to be able to raise our consciousness very quickly, and stay in that elevated state, that uplifted state, if you will. Then we can uplift others. So are you only occupied with your own center? You are children of the Father of all souls, and all souls are your brothers. So you are children of the Father of all souls, and all souls are your brothers. Hey, Master, knowledgeful souls, does the vision of your thoughts ever go to these brothers of yours? Do you experience your intellect to be so unlimited and far-sighted? You're not spending your time in trivial matters, are you? Are you able to see the unlimited task while remaining in your elevated stage? So we have an unlimited task to take care of. So we have to be diligent. We can't be lazy. We can't be spending time in trivial matters. That means we can't be careless either. Now, look at the third side. So Baba is now trying to help us see the third group of souls. And so what is the third group of souls? The scientists. So the scientists who will help you in the future kingdom are now making so much effort in this conference age. They are creating so many inventions. The scientists who will help you in the future kingdom are now making so much effort in this conference age. We are creating so many inventions. You're able to hear everything now because of the help of the scientists. Mic, headphones, etc. They are refining their inventions and will present these to you elevated souls as a gift and then return. Those souls too have so much renunciation. Many of these scientists you see throughout the day, throughout the night, they work so hard. They forget about food, they forget about sleep, and they don't go around socializing. They spend their whole day, night life. Some of these people, if you read their stories, like Madame Curie and Pierre Curie, husband, wife, they discovered radium and they spent their whole lives in it. And because radium has so much of radioactive stuff in it, the radiation, they both of them, at least, I think, no, the husband died because of an accident, but the wife died because of cancer. And the cancer was a direct result of her using radium, experimenting with radium all her life. So those souls too have so much renunciation. You look at the story of Louis Pasteur. Louis Pasteur, in those days, they didn't have high quality pipettes. And so he used those suction pipettes that you had to suck. And so he was the one who created that vaccine for rabies. And so you see, for that, he had to take the saliva of mad dogs. And so he would suck that saliva into those pipettes. If he would suck a little strongly, it would go into his mouth and he could die. So many of these people made so many sacrifices, went through so much of trouble just so that they could discover something new, just so that they could invent something new. So they have gone through so much of renunciation. They are so intelligent and make so much effort. They themselves make the effort and give you the reward of that. Do you think about how to benefit those souls? And even Alfred Nobel, the one who discovered the power of dynamite.
Oh yeah,
Uh-huh.
he did that for money, but I'm pretty sure it turned into a weapon.
Exactly.
And
Yeah.
then he created the I think he was a contributor of the Nobel Peace Prize.
No, he was the one because he saw that people are misusing that dynamite for warfare, and so many people are dying. So he felt horrible about it. So all the money that he earned because of that invention, he used that to create this Nobel Prize. And so now we have these 6, 7 different types of Nobel Prizes for peace, for this, for that, for literature, for physics, for biology, and things like that. I can't remember what are the different categories. So you see how much effort they put in. In fact, they say that he almost died because when he was trying to ignite and experiment with that, it exploded so close to him that he almost died in that. So, do you think about how to benefit those souls, or do you just think that they are atheists and ignore them and think, what would they do? However, whether they are atheists or theists, they are still Baba's children. That is, they are still children of God. They are your brothers. In terms of brotherhood, those souls will receive some type of inheritance. As world benefactors, would you not allow your vision of benevolence to fall on those souls? They too have a right. Each one's way of claiming his right is individual, but they also have to claim their right. They want to, they need to. So we have to benefit them. We are world benefactors, so we have to benefit even these souls. So first was the devotees, the second were the religious heads, and the third is the scientists. Now let's move on, Baba is saying. Look at the rulers of the kingdoms in this land and abroad. Do you see them? Do their kingdoms fluctuate or are they stable? Clearly, there's no stability in the outside world. These rulers have so much of stress. What will happen tomorrow? Will they be able to hold on to their kingdoms, their thrones, their crowns? What will happen? So, what scene can you see of the rulers of these kingdoms? There's a game played as a memorial of the previous cycle. Do you know this game? It was loved by Sakar Baba, the game of Chopper. Chopper is a game which we see in Mahabharata too, where the Kauravas and the Pandavas, they played that, right? And so a game with moves similar to chess, but played with dice. One moment, a player would have a winning double six, and the next moment, he would be defeated so much that he wouldn't even have enough courage to sustain his own family. One minute, he would be a crownless emperor, and the next minute, he would be begging for votes. Can you see this game? They are hungry for name and prestige. You have to give a drop of something to such souls. Become merciful to them, and with your vision of mercy in your form of a bestower, give them a grain. Become merciful to them, and with your vision of mercy in your form of a bestower, give them a grain and make them content. So, truly speaking, they just need a little bit of peace, a little bit of help, a little bit of support. And even that, we who are the world benefactor souls, we are the, in Hindi, Baba uses this word, Aadhar Mood. We are the supports for the entire world. And we sometimes get so caught up with our own things that we are not able to even give these tiny little grains to these souls. So the service that each section does is your own. You can go into the details of it yourselves. Now let's move on. There's a lot of variety in the general public. Some are singing one song and others are singing another song. However, everywhere the song of I want this is being sung. Yeah, either they want some material possessions, they want job, family, children to grow up well, or peace, happiness, something or the other. People are begging for that. People are searching for that. What song would you sing to bring their song to an end? Do you great knowledgeable souls, you great donors, you great Shaktis, who are bestowers of blessings. See, I'm repeating this. Baba has said this so beautifully. You great knowledgeable souls, you great donors, you great Shaktis who are bestowers of blessings, you master bestowers, you bestowers of fortune with a second's drishti have elevated thoughts of benefiting all souls in this way. Yeah, so it's a question. Do we have elevated thoughts of benefiting all souls in this way with a second's drishti? Do you have the time to look in all directions? Have you become a searchlight or a lighthouse? Have you now looked everywhere when you toured around? So Baba took everyone on a tour like this. Huh? So have you looked at everyone? Or is it just now that we are looking at all the souls when Baba is telling us? Or do we make an effort to look at all the souls on a constant basis? Such world benefactors, Trikaldarshi, Trinetri, master knowledgeful, master world creators should tour around the whole world and cast your vision everywhere. Only when you tour around the world every day would you be called spinners of the discus of self-realization. You see, we don't have to buy tickets in this kind of a touring. It's a touring of the mind, of the intellect. In that, there is so much of trouble, right? You have to pack up your suitcases, you'll have to have passport and visa for every country that you would visit. Yeah, and then you'll have to go to the security,
Yes, sir.
TSA security, right? Which is such a pain, right? At every point, and the flights get delayed, and so many different things can happen. You'll have to pack up so much of food, huh?
Waiting.
And waiting for hours, right? And so here in this, you can quickly go around the world in your mind. Look at all the souls of the world. Go round, 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 round. This is called as being the spinners of the discus of self-realization. Together with this, you would also be called the rulers of the globe. You know, Baba uses these two titles together. Chakravarti Raja, that is rulers of the globe, and spinners of the discus of self-realization would be Swadershan Chakradhari. So Swadershan Chakradhari and Chakravarti Raja. So spinners of the discus of self-realization and rulers of the globe. So when we become spinners of the discus of self-realization, we can become the rulers of the world. Are you just spinners of the discus of self-realization, or are you also rulers of the globe? You both, are you not? What a lovely murli. What an eye-opener murli. That we have a responsibility to fulfill for all the people on this planet. On one hand, you have the scientists, the other hand, we have the general public, we have the religious heads, religious founders, the rulers. That category we have to look at too. So now the salutations to such master knowledgeful souls. And let's try to experience these titles, experience these stages as we listen to the salutations. To such master knowledgeful souls who tour around the whole world. To the rulers of the globe who have the right to be masters of the self. To those who are merciful to all souls. See yourself creating mercy, feelings of compassion, empathy, mercy for everyone on this planet. To those whose vision is benevolent to all. To the elevated souls who are equal to the Father, Bab Dada's love, remembrance, and namaste. There's a little more to the Murli. Today, Didi and Dadi were both sitting in front of Baba. Why is Bab Dada pleased to see his special instrument souls? In this Iron Age world, no father is able to see how the kingdom is being ruled after his son has inherited the throne from him. However, the Alokik father, that is Brahma Baba, and the Paralokik father, that is Shiv Baba, are very pleased to see in a practical form how their children, who are seated on the throne of service, are carrying out the task of service. It is a speciality of the conference age that the father himself is able to see his children doing this. So, see, Brahma Baba became Avyakt. Yeah, he left his body. So, Shiv Baba and Brahma Baba would come in Dadi Gulzar's body, right? And so they would still be able to see what is happening in the Yagya, in the organization. How Dadi Prakashmani, and Didi, that is Didi Manmohini, how they were running the organization, how their administration was, which was superb. And so they were able to see how well they are taking this legacy forward. All right. So it is the speciality of the conference age that the father himself is able to see his children doing this. This system will also continue from the beginning of the golden age. There too, the father will watch his child after giving him the tilak of the kingdom. And it's very interesting. In the golden age, our lifespans will be at least 125 to 150 years, around that. And so around the age of 75, we'll have children. That's how, it is designed. And that's my understanding. Around the age of 75, we'll have, or 50 or 75, can't remember exactly. And then 25 years later, which would be 100, no, 50 years later, by then the child would have become mature to understand the dynamics of running a kingdom. And so the parents would give the kingdom to the child for a few years, see how the child is running that kingdom. So give their directions, give the guidance as needed, and then they will be leaving their bodies. It's very interesting. So there too, the father will watch his child after giving him the kingdom. No one can see this in the Iron Age. Bap Dada watches this every day, at every moment, every scene, every thought, word, deed, and connection of us, Baba's children, are all clear to Bap Dada to an even greater extent than they are clear to you. Bap Dada is pleased to see each task at every moment. He is seeing the practical return. The Father has made you children equal to Himself, and you children are giving your response to this. That is, we are becoming equal to Baba. We are delivering what Baba wants us to deliver, to be the best versions of ourselves. So this is why Baba is pleased to see his children. Baba becomes especially pleased to see you play one particular scene. Baba sees the wonderful dance of all dances every day. You dance this dance a great deal throughout the day. Everyone performs this dance, but you, Dadis, are the special instruments for this. This is why those who are instruments for this have to do this much more. And what is the dance Baba is talking about? It is a dance of harmonizing sanskaras. Yeah, because everybody has different sanskaras. Everybody has come with a different recording in the soul, and each one is going to play out their roles in different ways. They will interpret things in a different way. They'll have different biases and prejudices and feelings and emotions to things. So, how can we fit in every situation? Almost like a lock and key. Yeah? So, if someone has a sanskara of doing things in a certain way, and that is kind of against how you like things to happen, then there will be a conflict. But if you can mold yourself, to how that person likes, then there will be harmonizing of sanskaras. So, even Bruce Lee has said this: when my opponent expands, I contract. When my opponent contracts, I expand. Yeah, so that's the right way of actually fighting and winning. You can't do the same thing as the other person is doing, then there'll be an unnecessary clash. So it is the dance of harmonizing sanskars. Before you carry out any task, you have to perform this dance. When you harmonize with one another, a meeting also takes place. For how long do you perform this dance throughout the day? Bab Dada has a TV and a radio, etc. And you can imagine what scenes Baba would be seeing. Even the scenes of conflicting sanskaras are very good. Now, Baba is saying this in a fun way, but really speaking, when we have conflicts of sanskaras, it's not a good thing. Then sparks come out of it for no reason, right? The bodies of foreigners are very elastic, that is flexible, and they're able to mold themselves as they want. So it is becoming easy to mold yourselves too according to how you want. So the scene is also very good. At first, you're very tight, and then you become a little loose. Those people who do those yoga postures, stretching, and initially the muscles are very stiff. With time, they're able to stretch quite a bit. The muscles become little loose, ligaments become little loose. You look at some of these, Kung Fu and Shaolin monks, how they're able to stretch. Their bodies are so flexible. That's what Baba wants us to become flexible, not necessarily at the level of the body, at the level of the mind. Yeah, so that there is no conflict. So the scene is also very good. At first, you're very tight, and then you become a little loose. What does that mean? We are very rigid. I like it this way. We are inflexible, and Baba wants us to become flexible, be easy to mold. So once you become a little loose, you start to harmonize. After this harmonizing meeting, you start to dance in happiness. How beautiful that scene is. Everything of Bab Dada's works automatically. Whatever Baba is saying, whatever Baba is doing, or whatever Baba is teaching, it actually works automatically. All types of music and instruments are ever ready. As soon as he thinks of something, it emerges. Scientists today are refining everything and making them very subtle. They're making everything very small and yet very powerful. You can all see this in a tiny point. It is very interesting that now those what you call those microchips have become so small, so tiny that on one head of a pin, those tiny pins, here we have these thumbtacks, which have a big, thumbtack, you know what I'm talking about? Push pins, thumbtack. In India, we used to have those tiny ones, which had a small round, head. And then there was this pin. And so we would pin papers, right? Documents and all. On the head of that pin, two can easily sit. They have come up with such small ones that they need magnifying lenses and microscopes to actually see them. So in the companies where they are manufactured, like in the Asian countries like Taiwan and Korea, so they have to wear special masks, because if not, then when they breathe in, they will breathe in those microchips. They're so tiny. Mhm. So they're making everything very small and yet very powerful. You can all see this in a tiny point. If you went into expansion, it would seem very large, but when you make it small, it becomes completely like a point. Even so, Bapdada surrenders himself to you children for your efforts and courage, because no matter what your children are like, once you have said Baba, you have completely surrendered yourselves. For after all, you are my children. See, Baba accepts us just the way we are. Yeah, he doesn't judge us, he doesn't throw us out. Oh, you're not a good child. I don't want you. No, he accepts us all. So the father only sees the benefit even in the mistakes of children. In your physical world, when a small child falls down, then in order to make him happy, you tell him to look what he has found. You change the topic, right? The child has fallen down, then you bring a toy and you say, oh, see, you found a toy, you found a toy. And the child gets distracted by the toy, starts playing with the toy, and stops crying. So here too, Baba is saying that. So what is Baba doing? He's changing the topic. Here too, if you children stumble, and in Hindi the word is thokar, whilst moving along, then the father reminds you that it is by stumbling in this way that you are becoming experienced and are able to become the lords. That is Thakur, become strong. And in the West, there's this saying, whatever doesn't kill you makes you stronger. So, yes, you made a mistake, you stumbled, you hurt yourself, that's okay. You've become strong. You're going to become the Lord, the Thakur. So, Thokar will help you become a Thakur. Right? Thokar is stumbling, Thakur is the Lord. So, Baba does not look at your stumbling. Baba looks to see how much you've become a Lord through your stumbling. This is why Baba deeply loves each one of you children. It doesn't matter whether any of you become part of the cavalry or the infantry, because without the infantry, there wouldn't have been victory either. So, yes, infantry is the lowest grade, then cavalry, that is horse riders, and then the elephant riders. And Baba loves everyone. This is why every soul is essential. Baba looks at all three aspects of time. He doesn't only look at the present time. Sometimes you children only look at the present, and you therefore sometimes become confused as to what has happened and why it happened. They also think of it, if someone is not making good effort right now. So you would say, all right, this person will become infantry, right? Rather than cavalry or elephant riders. But who knows, tomorrow that soul could change. Suddenly the soul has a new realization, says, now I'm going to make effort in a big way and can jump through the ranks and become an elephant rider soon. Who knows? All right, we can stop here. Om Shanti.